And I got to turn my mic on, right? Okay, so 3:50 a.m. this morning, June 22nd, 2020 is the weather report for Creatard Universe and a few other things. Another channel, definitely not in the creationist universe, but Smoky Saint. He is a remarkable person. I guess you should describe him as a Christian philosopher. And this man, incredible personality, voice, a pleasure to talk to. Mutable Destiny had a conversation with him last night. Let me share a screen or a browser tab if I can do that. And I wish I could say an but we're working on that. Let's see. Smoky Saint. Share. That works. Okay. So this Smoky Saint did this conversation last night. I think it was right here. Pretty incredible conversation about evolution, abiogenesis. Now, I disagree with Smoky Saint on basic things like reality, but he is just wonderful to talk to. I was on his channel once. He interviews people. He is a pleasure. Everybody should subscribe to this guy. He's already got 157 subscribers, so he's doing pretty good. Looking around, Nephilim Free really didn't do anything at all this weekend. I think he put something up or had a live stream, but then he's been taking them down. There's nothing going on there. Raw Matt will get to Standing for Truth. Nothing going on with him. He put out a few, the Morning Star versus the Wandering Star, which was a rambling minister talking about Satan and Venus. And I don't know if he thinks Satan was Venus or if it was a metaphor. I couldn't quite get a handle on that. Then he had SFT Classics with Raw Matt and Nick Sauter. I didn't watch that because that was an old debate that he just reran. Molecular Clocks, Biblical Creation versus Evolution. He did that one. And that was more, I believe that was, I don't know if he went over some old debates. No, it was kind of his spiel. So he's recycling some of the same material over and over again. And it's a little confusing because Raw Matt is doing the same thing and they share things. You can't even tell the difference between the two channels. Now, Raw Matt has been a little bit busy. He's had Evolution of the Kangaroo from Rocks to Rock and Roll, which was just a kangaroo playing a guitar. I've never seen that before. That's a few minutes. Check that out. Standing for Truth explains hierarchies. That's kind of a good one. I haven't watched all of these. There's Donnie Dino Part 2, video reply to critic. I'm not sure what Donnie Dino is. Haven't paid much attention to that series. My Time on the Non Sequitur Show with Aaron Ra, and that's with Raw Matt. And Raw Matt Best of Yek Marathon and our, let's see, Best of Yek Marathon. There's a lot of stuff from him and Standing for Truth, and he goes over his chromosome 2 failure. Raw Matt puts out this incredibly sure of himself video piece on chromosome 2 where he goes over all the evidence against the chromosome 2 fusion, and he fails on every single point. And at some point, I would like to get into that, but chromosome 2 fusion is a very deep subject, and I don't want to get into it until I really, really know what I'm talking about. But it all fails. DDX11, not a functional gene. It starts there and it goes downhill. But this man does not know what he's talking about. He gets everything wrong. He lists the wrong papers. This marathon here that he did, the Best of Yak Marathon, Raw Matt, is probably a compilation of all of his bad science, what he cannot do. Now, there's much else going on. We are going to be doing a takedown of Sal Cordova's fitness ideas. It was we were going to do it tonight, but I have the pleasure of interviewing Daniel Stern Cardinal, geneticist, professor, teaches biology at the university level, and that's going to be at 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. And we're going to be talking a little bit about Cell Cordova. There'll be some preview stuff there. And talking about genetics in general and the YouTubeverse. Not much else is going on today. Not sure. During the day, I'm hoping to put up a short, very bad video where I discuss a piece that SFT did. I'm trying to figure out what channel he did that on. Did it on, we have Ramat, was it Ramat's channel? SFT did a thing where he just made a horrible, horrible mistake with created heterozygosity in his theory about what his answer to Erica. Yeah, it was answers to Erica on a debate. His answers to Erica on why cats, house cats and tigers have a bigger difference in their genomes than chimpanzees and humans. And he had a real confident comeback, which made no sense at all. And I've got a short little video I'm working on that is, again, going to be real raw, where I just explain why he is so full of shit. Just absolutely amazing. That brings us to logical, plausible, and probably wrong. John Maddox, he and I had a little exchange in chat last night. He's afraid to debate me again. He claims that, it's because I put this YouTube video up where I was facetiously calling him a liar. There's a little joke about, I asked him, you asked John for a link, and he goes nuts. I mean, it just triggers him. Talk about triggering a creationist. Ask John Maddox for the link to the paper that he's talking about. I mean, he has said, I was reading a paper about 10 times per video. But when you ask him for one link, he just goes non-linear. He just freaks out. Will not give you the link. It's irrelevant. You don't have to see it. You can take my word for it. I'm a researcher. Well, John Maddox is a real piece of work. I don't like the man. He doesn't like me. He refuses to talk to me, presumably over this video that I put up, which I took down, because I was facetiously calling him a liar, claiming that he didn't really have a paper. And I know that he does have a paper. He just stubbornly refuses to give me a link for it. Pretty amazing. So I've been poking the bear, and he is a bear. He's got an anger problem. It's pretty clear from his videos. He's got an arrogance problem, and he has a lack of education problem. Now, he talks about being a programmer, and I will take him on that because I am a real programmer. I've been doing computer consulting for over 40 years. He said something like, people are trying to decide the difference between Python and Ruby on Rails, which is a nonsensical opposition entirely. I mean, I don't know, maybe he meant that Python Rails-like framework, but I don't think so. And then he said HTML compiles into binary, which is just idiocy. It indicates that the level of his knowledge of programming, it's kind of the same with genetics, except he's learned enough. He's read a couple of blurbs in a biochemistry book, and he's picked up enough information, probably from the creation journals, to sound like he knows what he's talking about, and he puts it all like he knows what he's talking about. Then when you listen to these live streams that he does, like the one he did one day ago let's see, who did he have here? He had Shadow Dancer and these George Bond and himself, and they were talking about genetics. And we have got to, I think we're going to do Friday night at the Atheist, a series, and go through this video because they had the funniest stuff to say about genetics. It was just, it indicated their absolute lack of education. Now, ignorance is not a problem. I mean, a lot of people aren't going to spend the time that we spend studying, the science behind these things. the problem is when you pretend that you have, when you pretend that you know something, you come on and you're arrogant and you're saying, well, our research indicates, or new research that we've been looking at, or I read a paper, and then you can't back any of it up. You can't dig any deeper than that top level. You clearly have learned the words like a talking monkey so that you sound like a scientist, but you're not. You sound educated, but you're not. And there's an arrogance behind it with Maddox that really disturbs me. There's an arrogance. There's a sort of a bully attitude. You know, with his beta thing, he's I don't know if he fancies himself the alpha male or, you know, the expert in all of this. It just irritates me. And I don't like people pretending that they know something that they really don't know. And I go after that. So I've been trying to get him to debate me again. Or I even offered to have just a normal human one-on-one conversation with the man where we could have buried the hatchet and, you know, ironed it out and learned to see each other as human beings and not really debate or argue about anything. But he rejected me on that. He won't have that conversation with me. I would have that conversation with you, John, privately or publicly, either way. If you want to screw around, ignore me, and refuse to talk to me, refuse to debate me, I'm going to keep coming after you. So I would recommend we have a human conversation and kind of lighten this up a little bit before it gets out of hand. But if you want it to get out of hand, so be it. You're such an easy takedown that I will enjoy every minute of it. Anyway, on this live stream that he did for 4 or 5 hours, he went. There was a 1 or 2 hour, I think, genetics thing. But then in the end, him and Shadow Dancer got into this rant against feminism. And I listened to part of it and I couldn't stand it anymore. I'm not sure what is wrong with feminism exactly. It seems to really goad these people. I think maybe it's the idea that women have rights, maybe, or that I don't know what it is. I'm not entirely sure. So something really disturbs them, that women want equality. Women want to be taken seriously, that there's been this, well, I know where it comes from. 2,000 years of Christianity and that goddamn Bible. The things that it says in there about how to treat women, they're just right there with the slaves. And that is ingrained in a Western culture that didn't really get kicked in the ass until like around 1968, before we started coming out of the weeds and actually getting rid of this male asshole dominated world that we live in. Just because we got a bigger bicep, you know, the girls are a little smaller, we can push them around, and man, we did that for 2,000 fucking years. And feminism is the first pushback, and everybody's offended with it. So I don't know if that's worth listening to. If you want to get pissed off at some conservatives going on a tirade against feminism, listen to the last 2 hours of this bullshit. And I think that's about all that is going on. Today I'm going to work on some React programming for something I call Yapper. And we're getting ready to do some content with working with a logic professor. I won't give you his name yet. We're planning on doing logic videos. He wrote a textbook, and we want to create a couple of logic work calculators online and put out some good video content on how to understand logic. And he is the greatest logic professor ever. And that will be pretty good. I'm hoping to do a talk with Smokey on realism soon. And I don't think anything else is going on. Today I'm going to work on programming, getting ready to talk to Sal Cordova about fitness. Oh, when we do the Sal Cordova on fitness thing, we're going to talk Just a Walking Fish, Immutable Destiny, and myself are going to get into it pretty seriously about what we find wrong with his idea And then at the end of that stream, we're going to invite Sal on, and he said that he would attend to defend his ideas, and we're going to have a little back and forth. So looking forward to that. My talk with Daniel Stern Cardinal tonight should be good. Very exciting. I had a talk with R.J. Downard on Friday. And R.J. Downard, I will put a link to his Tortugan website, his tip project. R.J. Downard sure can talk, but he put out more information. That man knows the history of creationism. He is worth listening to. He has a show every Wednesday night. So check that out. And I don't know what else is going on. Not sure. Minneapolis is not on fire. They managed to, some guy with a gun managed to kill one person and wound 11 others. And we had a horrific car crash on 35. Protests seem peaceful. Minneapolis is kind of coming back. We're up to 36,000 COVID cases, and I am still hiding indoors, shaking, trembling in fear of COVID. My daughter came over for Father's Day yesterday, and I couldn't give her a hug. She had to stay 10 feet away because I'm living in like total isolation. Given my smoking history, I don't think I'll survive COVID. John would love that. He would just love if I died of COVID, I think. I don't know. Maybe I've underestimated the man. I know there's a human being in there, in John Maddox, but God, I'm having trouble finding it. I'll keep searching. I'll keep you updated on my search for humanity in John Maddox. And that's about it. So, talk to you tomorrow.